This is Robert Mendez, NetHawk.tv. I'm here this afternoon at Cloud Connect 2012 with Peder Ullander from Citrix, the Vice President of Marketing for Citrix. Welcome, Peder. Nice to have you with us.
Hey, nice to be here. Thanks, Robert.
So we want to talk a little bit today about what's new at Citrix. I know that you guys now are in tune very much with the Oracle, the VMware type customers. Talk about that relationship and what's changed.
Sure. I think the bigger thing is we are embarking on a strategy around helping enterprise customers build clouds. As such, one of the things we've always been committed to is openness and flexibility and choice of platforms. With the acquisition of Cloud.com and the introduction of CloudStack now inside of Citrix, we have a cloud platform that's actually running on top of or leveraging VMware infrastructure, Oracle infrastructure, as well as Citrix or Red Hat infrastructure for KVM. So what that's done is it's extended our market into classic enterprise server virtualization, enabling them with the tools that they need, right, to build and operate large-scale clouds while not forcing them to learn or be locked into, a different class of tools or what would I say, a different class of tools or experience.
So our view was when we first came to the show, and we've been sort of following this cloud for a long time. I mean,
sure.
it's a turn. The language has been around, it's been argued and everything else, but we sort of thought that things were moving a lot faster than they were. Do you see anything in the near future as far as critical mass, or do you have any guesstimates as to how that's going to work? The path to portability, I like that sort of jargon.
Path to portability, that's important. I mean, openness, portability, eliminating lock-in, these are all things that are absolutely critical as we start moving towards enterprise class deployments. So this perception that the cloud is moving fast is absolutely true, right? You just look at the Amazon business and use that as a benchmark. These guys have completely run away with the market. However, most of their customers are individuals within larger organizations, individual developers. In some cases, it might be an individual group or a SaaS application using them as a backend. It hasn't necessarily broken that barrier into the classic enterprise, if you will. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that path to portability, eliminating lock-in, a little more IT controls are absolutely top of mind for enterprises, right? And as such, we're just starting to see the enterprise get into the cloud with regards to either building their own or operating out on a public cloud. And what's become more and more critical is making sure that you have a unified platform to where it's a build once, run anywhere, whether it's local or remote, and then make sure that you have that secure connection between the two clouds. So the thing I always articulate to my enterprise customers is become an active learner, because there's a lot of cloud washing and misinformation out there. And the reality is, if you don't build a cloud right, you're doing about the same as putting a web server on a mainframe. It'll work, but you're not necessarily getting the benefits or the optimizations and so forth. So learn about how other customers are building clouds, what right applications or workloads work on the cloud. Really kind of think about how you're going to plan to make that jump into the market, and then understand all of your options, private or public or hybrid, right? Those types of things. Open source, classic server, there's a lot of different things you've got to learn about before you just go, I want a cloud strategy. The second big thing that I think is happening within enterprises is it's that cultural aspect of moving to the cloud, right? In some cases, it's a reverse culture in the sense that your users are already there, they have expectations, they are already using Amazon. You need to be able to bring that level of simplicity and agility into the enterprise. So that's a cultural shift from an IT perspective of letting go. On the flip side, I think you also, the decision to go to the cloud, it involves not only IT and end users, but finance and all of the other systems across the board. There's a cultural shift there too for people to understand we're almost dealing with disposable infrastructure at this point. The things of the past, the expectation or the exceptions of the past of wireless mobility, bring my own technology, flexibility, that's become the norm. You're now enabling all users, not just your power users, with that ability as you start to make your way towards the cloud. And I think that's an interesting perspective as well.
Is there anything that we missed that you want to add to this mix for our audience, for the IT?
So I think one of the things to talk about for us here at Citrix, this is effectively our big show for coming out with regards to helping enterprises build clouds the way the world's largest clouds are built. And we've had a very interesting announcement yesterday. We'll be on stage today with customers that have actually gone through the process of building successful clouds, whether they're connected to private clouds or they're service provider clouds or what have you. And I think that's the big point. You don't have to be the first one to dip your toe in the water. You can learn from the expertise of individuals in your industry, whether it's government and education, web scale, classic enterprise or service providers. We're actually powering the majority of the clouds that are out in the marketplace today.
Well, Peder Ullander certainly articulates our case, and he certainly seems in touch with all of the things that we have to offer to the IT community as well as to the business guys out there who have all these questions. Tune in, nethawk.tv, learn more, and visit Citrix and Peder Ullander to see what's up next for Citrix.